that was the weirdest email I've ever sent. Like, yeah, I can't come into work today because my legs aren't letting me go upstairs. Morning, guys. Hope you're having a good morning. So today I'm doing this week's story time, and this story is about the time that my legs just stopped working. Which sounds crazy, and it really was pretty crazy. So this happened during my pregnancy with Lucas. So it was about a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago. Hold on, sun's changing direction. Okay. Hopefully you can see me okay. Anyway, so I was about 22 weeks pregnant with Lucas, and maybe 23 weeks, somewhere around there. But I remember feeling like the upper part of my thighs, like so the top of your leg and above your knee. I don't know what those muscles are called, but they were feeling so like fatigued and sore, like I'd run a marathon. And I don't really exercise that much, so it was super weird. So for like maybe a week, they were feeling real fatigued. And then I was over at my dad's house. We go over there pretty frequently on the weekends just to kind of hang out and let the kids play. So we were there, and I was sitting on the couch, and I noticed it was especially bad when I'd go to stand up from a sitting position, or like use my leg while it was bent. Like I could walk pretty well. That wasn't really an issue. So I stood up from the couch, and they have a little short half flight of wooden stairs to go up to their restroom, and I needed to go to the restroom. So I take my first step to go up their stairs, and my legs just completely give out from under me. And I could not like stand myself back up again. I was basically like just stuck there on the ground. Like no matter how hard I tried, my legs would not work. And right at this moment, like Lee was, I think he was out running an errand, and my dad and my stepmom were outside. So Roman and Paige were the only two other little people in the house with me. And Roman's like, "Mommy, are you okay?" And I was like, and luckily I didn't like fall on my stomach or anything. I kind of caught myself and just like kind of fell backwards down onto my butt. And I was only on the first step, so it wasn't like a crazy fall or anything. And I said, "I don't know what happened, Roman. That was so weird, you know." I forget what happened, how I got back up in that situation. I think Roman might have helped me up, and I made it back to the couch and just kind of sat there really freaked out for a little bit. And I told my stepmom when she came in what happened. She was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so weird." But so I didn't really, it's weird, but I could get up again and walk. And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe it was just like a one-time fluke thing. So, we're going about the day, and I'm outside, and they have kind of a concrete walkway up to their front porch, and there's a couple small steps. And I went to just take that small step, and it happened again, and I fell kind of down onto my butt, trying to catch myself. And again, only Roman and Paige were there. So Lee comes out, and so he had to help me back up. I was basically just stuck there until someone could help me. It was just a bumpy road. It was so crazy. So something to know about me during pregnancy is a lot of stuff happens to me, and sometimes it's just weird stuff like that. So I feel like I'm always calling my doctor, and I hate to be the kind of pregnant lady that freaks out over everything and calls for the stupidest thing. And so I had been into labor and delivery triage for a couple things. I was dehydrated once, so I was having contractions, and I don't know. So I just was kind of hesitant to call, because a lot of times, like, I go in and it's nothing, I'm fine, and I look like a total idiot. So I was kind of holding off, and it was a Saturday, so I was like, I can't just go into the office. I would have to go into labor and delivery triage, and I didn't want to do that. So I just avoided steps. We have steps in our house, so if I needed to go down the steps, I would like sit on my butt and kind of go down Or if I needed to go up the steps, I'd crawl up them. It was hilarious. But I didn't want to fall again, obviously, especially being pregnant. And then Monday comes around and I called into work because I work in at a law firm downtown, and it's an old historic building, and it doesn't have an elevator, and has these 2 huge flights of stairs. So I was obviously not going to attempt those stairs, and I knew I had to probably go into the doctor anyway. So I called into work, and that was the weirdest email I've ever sent. Like, yeah, I can't come into work today because my legs aren't letting me go upstairs. It was super weird. And they're probably like, this girl's crazy. But they said, okay, that's fine, whatever. So I call my doctor and they say, well, you're probably going to need to come into triage to get labs drawn and stuff. I can't really do that in the office. So whatever, had to go into triage anyway. So I go in and they're running all these labs and checking everything. And then one of my doctors comes in and says, well, it's a good thing you came in today because your potassium is critically low. And I didn't know what that meant. Didn't know that was really a thing for your potassium to be low. And I think it was like 1.2 or something. And it's supposed to be at like 3 or 4. I can't remember the exact levels or where they're supposed to be, but I know it was like 1.2, which is super low. And apparently when your potassium is that low, things just stop working, like your muscles, which is what happened to me. And like, you can have other symptoms, but I can't remember what they are. But anyway, so the big problem with your potassium being that low is your heart can just stop. You can die, basically, which is insane. So they admitted me to the hospital, and I needed to be on a 24/7 heart monitor to make sure I wasn't, my heart wasn't doing anything crazy, and just kind of monitor that while they were trying to get my potassium levels back up. So they were giving me potassium through an IV, which burned like you know what. So that wasn't fun. And also my magnesium was low, but I don't think that was really causing any issue, but they were also giving me magnesium to bring that back up. Yeah, so I had to be monitored on this heart monitor, which means I had to be on like a cardio floor because they wouldn't let me go to the special care OB floor because I wasn't at viability yet, because I was earlier than 24 weeks, which was terrible because I've been in the special care OB floor in previous pregnancies, and it's so nice because obviously everyone there is pregnant and the nurses are nice and you typically get a private room, and it's just better all over. It's better. So I was bummed about that. So not only did I have to go to a cardio floor, but I had to share a room with this old lady who was miserable. Like, I'm sure she was a nice enough lady, but a terrible roommate, let me just tell you. Like, she would keep her light on all night and her TV on super loud. And I cannot sleep like that. I need darkness, silence. I can't have that. And so the first night, like, I was miserable and I was just crying because I just was so tired and I could not sleep no matter how hard I tried. And so when the nurses come in to take her vitals or whatever every like 2 hours or something, I don't remember, but when they'd come in to do blood work on me or come check on her, like, can you please, she'd be completely asleep but TV and light on. And I'd say, can you please turn her TV and her light off? And so they would, and she would wake up when she would just randomly wake up and like turn that crap all back on again. And she would like get herself ready for the day. I don't know why, because like, I mean, her daughter would come to visit her, but there's no reason to be like getting all that dolled up. But she would use so much freaking hairspray, and I literally, like, I couldn't walk very well, but I had to get up and walk the halls because I couldn't breathe in that room. It was ridiculous. So terrible roommate, old lady. And she apparently had been there for like 4 months. And they discharged her the day I went home. Like, you couldn't have sent her home a few days early. And I begged for a private room, but there were just none available. And I couldn't go to a different floor. It was just no fun. So I ended up being stuck there for 4 days. 3 nights, 4 days, I think. And I was just so sad. I missed my kids and my husband, and I missed work. Which I think I did work a little bit from the hospital room because I had like nothing to do, and there's nothing wrong with me except just trying to get my potassium back up. But it was so boring and it was just miserable. I can not imagine being on hospital hospital bed rest for like months. Kudos to the moms who have to go through that because I'm sure it's awful. So anyway, I had to see a nephrologist for a while, and they did a whole like kidney workup on me, and they still never figured out, they did figure out why I have kidney stones in pregnancy. So yeah, I have all kinds of weird stuff happen to me in pregnancy, and I almost always get kidney stones. So they figured out why I get kidney stones, but they didn't figure out why this potassium thing happened to me. And I just thought about this story the other day because my legs were a little shaky when I was going down the stairs when I woke up one morning. And I was like, oh my gosh, hopefully my potassium isn't low. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead. Go. Let me over. I'll never forget that. That was the craziest thing that's ever happened to me, health-wise. Yeah. So if you're pregnant or not even pregnant and something like that happens to you, get yourself to the doctor like ASAP because it could be bad. So I'm glad I did go in and didn't wait any longer because I don't know what could have happened, and nothing ever weird happened with my heart, so that's good. But obviously they just want to make sure. So yeah, I'm almost at work. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. Hopefully you enjoyed this story time today. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye!
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure.